All right, folks, welcome to the long awaited trade recap. This is the Friday trade that we lively executed on the live stream. So, to those who participated in this trade, congrats on your 5RR. To those who did it, your loss. This went on a 5RR, which the risk was $750 and the reward was 3,600. I did take this on a smaller account as well, which I risked about 10%, but the risk was higher, but the capital was lower, so I did end up risking more to make more. Right, I made a 50% return on this trade. Not 50% exactly, probably like 49%, because as you guys know, they fuck around with your shit, right? But made around somewhere 50%. As the chart says right here, 50%, but I didn't really exactly made 50%, probably 48%. But if you round it up, 50%, right? It doesn't sound right rounding it up, but that's how it goes. And this is as well my public live account. Not public live account, public account that I'm publicly sharing, because I have accounts. I have a 100K funded account which I don't share to you guys publicly. I have other accounts like live accounts that I don't share to you guys publicly because there's no need to. And to those who are wondering why not, is there's a reason to that. First of all, it's like saying, okay, come rob me. Rob me, buddy. I have this much, come rob me. And secondly is that's not the actual main reasoning. The reasoning is envy and jealousy. Wondering, well, that's some bullshit excuse. We're in a very weird generation slash world. Wondering, well, the envy slash jealousy won't do anything to you. It's the evil eye, that evil eye could fuck up your performance, could get you sick. Those shit is actually real, which I don't believe in, but it does actually play a big role in people's life. I've seen people get envied on. I've seen people get envy lied on. Their whole career got fucked up. I've seen that shit happen before. Like one of them, like we back where I used to live. Back in the time, that's where I used to live. The envy shit, the jealousy shit, evil eye shit was a big thing. It was a big problem. You guys know it is a big problem to this day. I've seen guys. I don't even know. We back then I didn't even had a phone, and these guys, the guy, they had some, problem with the devil or something. They had their eyes were pure dark. Their eyebrow pure dark over here, without using any phone or anything like that. Those shit or just comes from evil eye. That's probably not even the main reason, but it is a thing, and you can't just give out everything. You know how the code goes. Show less than what you actually have. There's no need for me to go actually get external validation for you guys. There's no need for me to do that shit. It's literally no reason. Some bullshit. I mean, those who post profits are like usually scammers. I'm saying this is how much I made, so how much you can make if you fucking lock in, and if you just pay attention to my things right now. I'm currently giving it for free. Soon there will be a mentorship. There will be a very dense people that it won't be a whole mentorship for like hundreds of people. It's only gonna be a 5 people mentorship, which my main focus can be on 5 people. Where you have my old focus is if I have like let's just say 100 people in the mentorship, I can't let my old focus go to 100 people. It's too much. So getting 5 people, having my focus on the 5 people is gonna be very good and dense, and that will come back later in the future. Not right now. It's gonna be very soon, but no information on that as of right now. I haven't went any further yet. But this trade right over here, as I said to you guys, I have multiple other accounts. I just don't proceed to show them. There's no need to. This is the public account that I accepted to show. So if I get evil eye or some shit, if my performance, it's gonna fuck up this account. Although it's gonna fuck up other accounts because sometimes I take the same trades, right? Because some prop firms, they won't let me take the same trade, but other prop firm will. So I'll just execute the same trade sometimes, but sometimes I will not. And but yeah, enough renting. Let's get to this $3,600 trade recap, which I risked about $750. And let's get straight into it. All right, so on Friday, we took this trade on Friday, obviously. And this trade hit take profit on Sunday at the night time, right? You can see the background's kind of night, right? It's nothing, it's pure dark. So it's nighttime on Sunday. This trade took about, we had to hold it over the weekend because take profit didn't get met. And there's a lot of lessons to this trade. As you guys know, I'm still learning. Every trade and every lesson is a learner. All you guys probably see me make money, but it's always a lesson. Right? No matter how much money I'm making or how much money I'm losing, I still have to learn. There's no ego in this shit, right? I can't be egotistic like, yeah, I'm making money, I don't give a fuck about a mistake. Guess what? Those mistakes will add up. Bad habits will add up. And guess what? All the profits are gone. You don't want it to happen. I've had that happen where I've turned $500 to 12,000. I thought I was the top of the world. I over-risked. Till I got to 12,000, till I got to the $12,000 mark, I was super on risk. 5% per trade, 10% per trade. If I lose a trade, I'm risking 5%. The next trade I make back, so I go risk back to 10%, and I keep on going, right? I don't risk more than 10%. All that happened. Do it for risk. Riding a $12,000 mark from a $500 startup, I fucking blew it because I'm saying, I was like, yeah, I'm on top of the world. I'm making money here. I don't give a shit. That shit just collapsed and under a trade. Not you didn't collapse on trades. It collapsed on a trade. Right, one trade blew the whole account. And I had during that time when I took the trade, I'm pretty sure I have a recording. I think I deleted the recording because I like to keep my computer very safe, because I don't want to put too much storage on my shit, and I'm confused every time because I'm not too used to this technology shit, right? I just delete everything. After make this video, after I publish, I delete this video as well. But when I put in a trade with 12,000, actually didn't put 12,000 because I didn't want to go, or I didn't want to over exceed my balance. So I think it's about 11,500. I left $500 left, but when the market went down, it went down even lower. So I lost a spare 500. So it went even lower. But even then I took a $12,000 trade. The risk was accepted, but I risked too much. I risked the whole account, that shit. And I just saw it crumble. And I saw it crumble under 15 minutes. I didn't even have time. I didn't even give I was so fucked up that I didn't even think about breaking even. I was like, I was so locked into the candle that I forgot, bro. Let me try my stop loss at least. Let me just lose less. I still have, $4,000 left. I still could push it back up higher. But I was so dense in, I was looking at a chart and that shit just collapsed. So even when you're making a lot of money, you gotta be very submissive to the chart. I'm not making a lot of money right here. 3,600 is nothing. I make this shit on a fucking day on a crypto trade. This is nothing. And especially, where you live right now, 3,600 is nothing. Where I live, it's nothing. They ain't gonna give me shit. So let's get straight into it. And then I'm renting a little bit more, but worth it. So that renting right there you should journal that shit. Because no matter how much money you make, you must always be humble and you must always build good habits and gain satisfaction from building habits, as well as you must always be submissive. And that's what we're doing. So even if I make, let's just say $100,000 per trade, I'm still going to tell you guys This is the mistake I made. This is the lesson from this trade. Now let's go over the lesson. Before we do that, let's go to the higher time frame liquidity. What was our higher time frame liquidity on a weekly time frame? I'm gonna do a top-down analysis here. Weekly IRL to ERL. We had a weekly CRT to the upside. How come it's a weekly CRT? Before this candle closed, market was a model one right over here. On that wick, on the daily, we had a daily range low, range high. Range low got souped on range high. As though we had daily IRL to ERL. The daily ERL got met, but I was like, okay, we're so near the weekly CRT high. It's gonna meet that as well. As well as we had a classic expression profile to the upside, Monday low of the week. We tapped this kind of daily range, we did range high, and that was overall enough for us to take this trade. Now if we go to the lower time frame on the 4-hour time frame for the market context and narrative, the day before we did a false market shift, which is a total soup, as well as we had an OTE, as well as we had a breaker, a false breaker, and eventually, as you guys know what happens after a false market shift, we get explosive price movements. So this push to the upside was inevitably gonna happen. Why? Because we had a false market shift the day beforehand. You see, 1 day movement overran the 2 days movement. This push to the downside took 2 days. Well, this push to the upside took 1 day. Right. So as you guys know, markets conditions. If this is how you guys, I know a quick little thoughts to you guys. If you guys want to only trade in a good condition, if you guys only want to trade in a good condition, is always wait for a false market shift and then trade, because the condition is going to be very nice because market's going to go explosive to one direction movement, and you can catch that continuation. As though we had a near continuation, we had a 4-hour CRT, so we're not looking for hourly CRT, but a 4-hour IRL to ERL, as well as we had a 4-hour key levels for value gap, and we had a 4 SMT with the correlated pair right over here. That's a daily time frame, but if you use a low time frame, we had SMT divergence. This is 9 a.m. SMT. We as well, or that's not the right candle. Was it the right candle? Yeah, that was the right candle. We had SMT right over here, or you could probably say with the 1 a.m. candle. But we had SMT. Eventually, we're looking to long it up. SMT is a beautiful, beautiful confluence. So that was a higher time frame. Now, go to the lower time frame to execute this trade. On the lower time frame, during this time of a trade, I did not think about entering this. I did not think about entering the trade and entering the trade when the CRT low or the Philly swing happened, because there was a Philly swing that happened on the lower time frame with GU, right? It was a Philly swing. Well, GU made the Philly swing and EU was with the low. But during this time, I did not know I could be entering that trade. As of right now, what I'm looking at it on Sunday, I should have already had a trade right over here, and a trade would have hit take profit before the Friday candle would have ended, and I would have been chilling. But lessons. And during this time, I did not know that I could take a trade on the failure swing where one pair pushes it out and the other pair does not. So it makes a failure swing on that one pair. It doesn't make a lower low on the other pair. In this case, my pair made a lower low. But as of looking right now, and when my pair makes a lower low, I'm still able to trade it. All I have to look for is a lower time for CRT within the higher time for CRT, depending on the candle time frame I'm looking for it. I'm looking for a 15-minute. If I'm going for a 4-hour to 15-minute, and my pair makes a lower low, and the other pair makes a failure swing, lower high, I will be looking for a low time for CRT, 15-minute CRT, looking for 1 minute inversion with Ferrari gap, Ferrari getting inversed. Why not model 1? And why inversion? Simply because that right there helps us, because usually what the market could potentially do is it could be a Ferrari gap, you could close above one of the candle, but not the whole Ferrari gap here, and you just go lower. Right? But what we want is to get a good secure, and eventually close above this Ferrari gap, then go lower. Right? Then tap it, then go higher, which that would make way more sense, and that would make us miss this trade. That would make us have a less chance of missing a trade and getting us more RR. But what we entered on was not that. We entered based on the rejection block, total soup, entry, which is the Dawn model resistance block to the sub entry. We had a stop loss right below this 815 low. Why? Because we were essentially supposed to put a stop loss right on the threshold of this 15-minute, rejection block on the threshold. But I was like, okay, if the market taps the startup and it closes just a little bit below it, it's highly going to tap that threshold. So let me put it right below the threshold, which has a secure stop loss. And why did I do this right over here? I put my stop loss right below the threshold was one reason. And the reason was that this week was so big. Market's high likely not to go back to the threshold. So putting a stop loss right below the threshold would have made sense. You can see market never tapped it and went up higher. You see it's pushed to the downside, tapped the 1 minute number one. And yeah, eventually blasted off and hit our take profit. Now, let's go to our actual entry that we show what's happening. Well, this is a good, clean ass entry, but we should have been out of trade by 1:45 p.m. New York time, right? Should have been traded. We should have been out of trade by this candle. Should have been in a trade before the the day ended of the Friday candle. So we had our entry wrong. Although this entry is still valid. How come? Because it's one of our entries, right? But our actual entry is supposed to be this candle. So now, as I said, we had a failure swing on GU, but we had a lower low on EU. And how is this entry still valid? One reasoning. The reason this entry right over here is valid on the reason we could take a trade when EU purchases when EU makes a lower low or GU makes a higher high, we can still look for a trade when the EU makes the lower low. All the people wondering, well, this is not a safe stop loss. With that comes risks, it comes reward. The reward is way huger than the risk. It's way better. So if our pair makes a lower low while the other pair makes a lower high, all we're looking for is we're still looking to get trade. So we're gonna execute when our pair makes a lower low and other pair makes a failure swing or lower high. So we could now take a trade on when our pair makes a lower low. The only time we can take a trade when our pair makes a lower low is when the other correlated pair makes a lower high with GU or with DXY. It needs to be some sort of SMT. If all of them makes a lower low or higher high, I will not be looking for that trade. I will not look for a trade. I'll look for the other scenarios, or I will not execute. I cannot take a trade when all of them push out the higher highs, or all of them makes a higher high and a lower low without SMT. I cannot take that. I need there to be SMT with one correlated pair. If there's not SMT with correlated pair, I simply do not execute. Simple as that. But during this time we did have SMT with GU. So GU did not push out the low, while EU did push out the low. So we had a lower low on EU, and we had a lower high on EU. We had a lower low on EU. We had a lower high on GU. So we had SMT confirmation. We had SMT divergence here. And all I'm looking for is a fair value to get inversed. Why? I just already got a scenario where it could go lower. And this can give us, and this can get this, and this can get in our trade, and this can get in, and this can get us into the trade relatively before the model one happens. Because usually when they mix SMT, market is spiking into one direction, and it usually leaves a gap. As you guys know, market we left pushed to the downside heavy, and we left a gap here. So we're looking for this. We're looking for the first gap to get inversed. It got inversed, and all we're looking for is, so we're looking for the first, a PD array that goes against our bias to get inversed or disrespected, giving us a strong sign that the market wants to go up higher or lower. Then all we're looking for is for to get inversed. It got inversed, and I will not be entering the model one itself. I'll primarily be looking for inversions. IFG model, this could be considered as a doji guy model. I do not fucking know him. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't know who is he. I don't give a shit who is he. This model is ICC's model, so I'm not gonna say his model, right? And this I could say it's my model. I don't give a fuck. You know, I couldn't give a shit. This right over here, market had an inversion. We tap the fair value gap. Our actual issue is supposed to be right over here. Stop loss right below the swing low. And we are bouncing out of here for a 5RR. Market did do a deep retracement, but as you guys know, we did not break even. And our take profit got met. Now, let's go over the lesson. There was plenty of lesson here. And the lesson is, I do not break even. Break even is a scam. The only time I break even is when my take profit gets hit. My entry is the OTE. We can see market pull back to my entry multiple times. My entry is the OTE. My stop loss is the total soup. And my take profit is total soup as well, 5x5RR. Why do I break even? Because my entry is the what? My entry is the OTE, so that means it go back to my entry multiple times before going up higher. My stop is the total soup. My stop is the total soup. There's no need for me to. There's literally no reason for me to ever break even because my stop is the total soup. And unfortunately, in this trade, I broke even when this candle to the downside. I do not know why. I do know why. The reasoning is fucking some bullshit reasoning I made. I was like, okay, it's Friday. Prices are fucking, these are ass. It's an ass day. So let me go and break even. Which is a bullshit statement. How was this ass? Market went to our drone looking. How was this day ass? It doesn't make sense. I made some bullshit statement. I made some bullshit theory. Which I will not do it again, and I do not do it. I did not make bullshit theory. So I do not break even. I did not break even too early. I only break even when my take gets hit. Otherwise, no, I break even. My entry is the OTE. My stop is the total soup, and my take profit is the total soup as well. I do not break even. I let the whole prediction play out. And the next lesson is I can take the lower lows. I can still take a trade if my pair makes a lower low, while the other pair makes the lower high, or the other pair makes a failure swing. The only time I could take the pair, the only time I can take a trade when my pair makes the lower low or higher high is when the correlated pair makes and has a SMT with my pair. If there's no SMT and my pair makes a lower low, other pair makes a higher high, which is correlated, I will not execute. The only time I can execute when my pairs makes that lower low or higher high, where my pairs that want to purge out the liquidity, I will. The only time we're looking to execute is when the correlated pair has SMT. If there's no SMT, and my pair makes lower low or higher high, I will not execute it. The only time I can execute it if my pair, purge out the liquidity but the other pair has SMT, then we could potentially execute it, right? And then we can enter the trade if we get the right model one. And my entry model on the 1 minute time frame will be the model it will be a fair value gap, IVG. So I'm looking for the first fair value gap to get inversed. I'm looking for it to get retested and long it up, and that's it. And put my stop right below swing low. Like I created, but one thing that's risky. No, that's not risky. If we're young, we need to take risk, right? I'm fucking young, right? I'm in my 20s, so I need to take more risk. As simple as that. I don't take risk at a young age. Like his life is all about risk, taking a risk. It makes it, when you take a risk, it makes it funner. And I don't know how the fuck that's risky. This doesn't make sense to you guys. It just charts. The charts are not fucking random. And the next thing is the only way we can execute a trade when the my pair makes a lower, higher high, and we have the SMT is when we have a lower type of CRT within the higher type of CRT, depending on our entry time frame. And if we go to the 4 hour to 15 minute or hourly to 5 minute, they're looking for a 5 minute lower type of CRT, or a 15 minute lower type of CRT. They're looking for like to get purge. looking for valid high, valid low, looking for an inversion model, then looking to execute a trade, etc., etc. And yeah, that is the lesson. And yeah, beautiful trade. I did not. Was the reason I tried my stop loss right over here? The only time I tried my stop loss over here is after the market opened on Sunday. Why did I do that? Is because if the market goes all the way back down here, it's gonna make me lose. It's gonna make me breach the equity edge balance rule on the prop firm. So I was like, okay, let me go over here. If it does go down here, which it will not, because I'm the Don. I'm CIC. Usually, I just put it down there just when the market, if the market goes, all the down here, I don't breach the rule on the prop firm, which they have an equity edge balance rule. Because I did not partial this trade. I do not partial no more. I make a fixed 5RR, and that's a lesson. And we had another setup right over here, which is the IPG model as well. You see the fair value gap right over here did get inversed. But wondering, well, he got disrespected. Yes, but rather as IPG get disrespected, all we're looking for is to get a retap on its IPG and longing that shit up and putting our stop loss right below the the SMT swing low. We could either in this case we could have entered our trade either at the we could have entered our trade either at the 50% of this total body soup resistance block, because when the market made when our payment has failed swing was right on the sell side liquidity resistance block at the 50% of the threshold of the resistance block. So I was like, okay, we could enter a trade there, or we could have entered the trade on the when the fair value gap gets inversed and gets retapped. Probably wondering, well, the fair value gap got disrespected. All we care about is enter on the fair value gap when the fair value gap is in AVG, and that's it. And our target was right here for 5RR. And even if we're entering on the 50% of the threshold of the resistance block, we are still gonna have 5RR, which made profit. Although you can see market did go lower, but guess what? The Total Soup model, the Dawn model, would have hit take profit, and although it collapsed, but guess what? We still made our profit. We're chilling. So those who we got out right when the market shift happened, which is beautiful, right? And yeah, that's the lesson. So thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share. See you guys later. Peace out. Beautiful, valuable lesson. As you guys know, we always learn. We always seek improvement. And the lesson one more time is I do not break even too early. I only break even when my take profit gets hit. My entry is the OTE. My stop is the Total Soup. My take profit is a fixed 5RR. I do not break even. I let the whole prediction play out. And one last thing is I will no longer be risking 1.5% on challenge phases. All the opponent will, challenge phase. But keep in mind, our RR is always 1.5RR. So I'd rather risk 1% and still need to take 2 trades to pass phase 1 than risk 1.5% and still need to risk phase 2. But if I'm losing more than what I'm actually losing on a 1%. So if I'm risking 1%, I'm losing 1%. If I'm risking 1.5%, I'm losing more. But guess what? I still need 2 trades to pass the phase. So, shit like that. So yeah, phase 2, guess what? They both need to pass. They both need 1 trade to pass. So we still are relatively chilling each way, right? So yeah, I will be risking 1% per trade on challenges. Why? I want to show you guys an example here. I'll show you guys the reasoning. But I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Have a good night. Beautiful day. And to those who take it, make sure you guys share you guys profits on the Discord. And make sure you guys, if you guys have the X/Twitter, make sure you guys post about the trade and credit me. See you guys later. Peace out. Don CSC out.